All right. Good evening. It is Tuesday night, the 7th of February. So I'm Darren Meyer. Lots of people know me as Oscar. It's a Navy nickname that stuck, right? I help veterans get established in business, gain an online presence, and grow their businesses. So tonight, I've got a special guest. And before I get into that, if you're on here watching live, give me a hashtag live over in the comments, please, below. Also, if this is a replay, you're watching a replay, give me a hashtag replay. Don't forget to mash the thumbs up like button or give me some love, right? Show me that heart. So tonight, my guest is Devontae, aka Tay. He's a U.S. Air Force veteran, and Tay was a construction engineer his entire career. He served and deployed overseas, is big on the community involvement and volunteering. He and his wife, when they separated from the Air Force, they decided to form a company that helps vets set themselves up in their future, and it's called TGCI FI, or the Game Changers Financial, right? So with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Tay. Tay, welcome aboard, and thanks for coming tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darren. Again, just a little bit of background about me. Did 6 years active duty in the Air Force. Again, my wife did 13 years, and then we both got out. It was just kind of the best thing for our future. I did kind of want to do 20, but just with everything going on with our family dynamic, it was just best for us kind of to go the other way.
Right.
And now that we've gone out, we are very dedicated to the veteran community and the active community. We love giving back to our veterans. Again, as we are veterans ourselves, we all look out for each other. And again, we chose the finance realm because, it's kind of our family business. My in-laws, her parents, have been in this game for about 22 years now. So we kind of are joining the family business and very excited to do so, and with that focus on veterans.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. All right. Perfect. So here we go. So real quick, we're going to go through some slides here with you guys with the emphasis on investing for your future. Of course, getting into more detail, the nitty gritty personal things for you and your family, you can always feel free to reach out, get with us on a one-on-one basis. That way we can actually tailor a game plan to you and your family specifically. But kind of today, we're going to go over some general things as well when it comes to the topic of investing for your future. So when we start, two major philosophies to understand is living too long and dying too soon. So what we're going to talk about today with the investment side is the living too long part with the emphasis on investments. And with that, we talk about the theory of decreasing responsibility. So if you focus your attention to the right side there, we talk about in the later years, you need to have money. You have to have that account, those monies that are set up to pay you during retirement. And we talk about being military. We talk about having your retirement through the military as well. And with that, VA, pension, whatever it is, however you chose to get out, or with this new blended retirement system, kind of being more so focused on the 401k aspect. We need to make sure that you're maximizing your returns during retirement. So with that, one of the things that I like to cover here is called the Rule of 72. It's also called the Banker's Rule. It's a pretty simple concept. What it allows you to do is divide your interest rate on whatever account that you have your money in into the number 72 to find the approximate number of years it's going to take you for your money to double. So with that, when we talk about where people leave their money, or what's the most common place that people leave their money? It'd probably be the bank, right? And I'm not sure if you guys know, but with the banks, typically in a savings account, you're earning less than 1% on your money, right? So let's just say, for the purposes of the chart here, let's say you found the best bank that gives you 3% on your money, right? So we're talking about here a one-time investment of $10,000 with a 3% interest rate. So you take that three, divide it into the number 72. That's going to give you 24. So 24 years it's going to take for that $10,000 to then grow to 20,000, and another 24 years after that for that 20 to double into 40. Now, when we talk about $40,000, 48 years from now, was that a good or bad investment? I'd say it's not that great of an investment. $40,000 in 48 years isn't even really going to be $40,000, right? When we talk about inflation and the prices going up. So now we look at 6%, right? We talk about that same $10,000 one time investment, but now you have a 6% interest rate. Take that same number six, divide it into 72. That gives you now 12 years, right? Every 12 years, your money's going to double. So as you can see, looking at the chart, 40,000 at the end of the 48 years compared to 160,000. That's quite a big difference there. It's a bit of a better investment, right? Now,
Right.
before I go to the last one, I just want you to think about what are the banks doing with our money while our money is in the bank. It's not just sitting in a vault. It's not
Yep.
just you know sitting there to wither away, right? The banks are actively investing our money, right? Whether it be
Yep.
in the stock market, things like that, foreign oils, things like that. Or how about, what about when you go get a car loan? The bank is then lending your own money to you, right, at a set interest rate. And typically, depending on where your credit's at, shoot, a car loan, you can be getting anywhere from three to even I've seen 24% interest, people being charged on a car loan. And that's the type of rates that the banks are getting with our money. But then we put our money into a bank to where it earns less than 1%. So just for the sake of the chart, we're going to say 12%. Now we look at this 12% interest, divide that into 72. That means your money's doubling every 6 years, right? So now we can see at the end of 48 years at 12%, that I can guarantee banks are getting at least 12% rate of return, right? Now we look at $2.5 million at the end of that 48 years. And imagine that was your 10,000 that you put into the bank, right? And say you did get 3%. At the end of that 48 years, the bank then gives you back $40,000 and then they keep 2.5 million that they then made off of your money. So right again, this is the kind of returns that banks are seeing on our money and we're not seeing on our money because either we're not educated on it or people just haven't brought this information to us. So this is one of the really big rules that we like to teach our clients, because knowing that there are better vehicles out there to put our money into to get a better rate of return is very big when we talk about being properly set up for retirement.
Now, Tay, what's the average? What's the average expected return on an investment long term? Is it still in the 8%, 8 to 10%? Is that kind of the ballpark average?
Yes, I would say that's the ballpark average. Of course, with any investment, you will never have a guaranteed rate of return. But with that, some of the accounts that I've seen have averaged between 8 and even 9 to 10%
Yeah.
over the lifetime of the accounts.
I've
Yeah,
personally had the highest I've ever had was in the 20s, right? I had like
yeah,
24% one year, and the
hmm
following year I had a -10. So it,
right,
you know,
right,
it
yep.
averaged it out.
And that's the thing with investments. It's going to go up and down, right? But the thing that you have to remember is you don't lose money unless you take it out,
Unless you take it out.
right?
Exactly. It's only on paper, right?
Exactly. So the people that, see that it's down that, 12% or even 20%, and they get scared and then they pull their money out, now you actually lost money. But if you ride it out, the way that the stock market has done and will continue to do, right? You just play those or ride out those dips. And then of course you have to ride out the highs as well. So you just have to accept that when you start investing and know that going into it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So again, when we talk about investing, it's so crucial that we get into it as young as we can. I think back to that last slide. What if our parents had put away a little bit of money when we were born and just let it sit there in an investment account and just sit there and grow and grow and grow? Where could that money be at now? Even if it was only $100, right? I think to myself, I'm 29 years old. Even $100 invested over 29 years, what would that look like right now? So with this, if your goal is to save 500,000 for retirement at age 67, just some of the difference that it makes at the different ages, right? Age 25, right? Only having to save $89 a month, to have that 500,000. And look at that jump between 25 and 35. Now $224, right? Nearly two times more just because you waited 10 years. And then, of course, another 10 years at age 45. Now you're looking at $602, right? Nearly seven times more. And then, of course, age 55, waiting that long. Now you're almost talking about $2,000, right? Now we're talking about a mortgage payment, right? Just to try to save, to have that money ready for retirement, right? Almost 21 times more. It just goes to show you, the younger you are, the better or more beneficial that it's going to be. Now, again, there's never, okay, well, I waited, now it's too late to start. It's always going to be good to have an investment account or be investing. This is just going to show you that the younger that you start, the better off that you'll be, and the more, leeway you have, right? Even imagine if it was before 25. Imagine you just brand new 18 and you start an account. It's going to be even less, right? So again, don't pay the high cost of waiting.
Plus, the younger you are, the more aggressive you can invest, right? I mean, the
Absolutely.
older you get, the less time you have to make up any pitfalls. So you typically don't invest as aggressively, right, or as
Right.
riskily.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. Your younger years, you can be more aggressive and you can be in those accounts that are going towards aggressive growth. Whereas when you're age 55, you don't want to be taking those same risks as you would have, when you were 25, because now you're at an age where you can't afford to take some of those dips in the market that you can take at that same age, back in 25 in your early years. Yeah, great point there. So again, we talk about the three fundamental accounts that you should have when investing. Number one is an emergency account, used for things that come up. God forbid you should lose your job or something like that. You want to have a little bit of a nest egg built up to be able to, provide for an emergency. There was a statistic I was actually reading the other day, whereas it was about 60% of Americans, if something happened to their car and it broke down and it was more than $400, they aren't even prepared for a type of emergency like that, and that's huge. Especially with our vehicles and things like that. There's just you never know what can come up in an emergency, so you want to have an emergency account built up. And then there's a short-term account. You know, whether it's something that you're looking at buying, a vacation maybe that you're wanting to take your family on, things like that. We want to have a short-term account. That way, we don't have to use credit cards or go into debt for some of these things, some of these expenses that maybe we want to do but don't have the money right now, right? So we want to be investing or saving towards that as well. And then number three would be your wealth building account. Now that's kind of what we're talking about when we talk about retiring. and aggressively investing when we're young, because we want to have the max wealth accumulated right when we're older. So that's what we talk about when we talk about the wealth building account. And then some of the key takeaways again, that you are never too late to start investing, although it pays to start early, like we talked about. Number two is get with a financial professional, right? Start a budget. That right there is a key thing that we need to start on, right? Having a budget, having a game plan put together, right? Saying, hey, I want to retire at this age. Say it's 65. I want to retire at 65. I want to have $10,000 a month coming in. I want to make $120,000 a year. Okay, that's great. Now, what do we need to do? What steps do we need to take to get you going in that right direction, so that it's not just a dream, it's actually something that you're working towards, right? And again, saving now and investing now will prevent having to go back to work in retirement. This is one of the big things that I think about, even with one of the guys that I work with in the office here. He was a football coach, as a teacher in high school, and he started to see a lot of the teachers that he was working with started to come back after they retired. He said, "Uh-oh, well, if I'm going down the same path that they're going on, I don't want to retire and then have to come back here as well." But now he's on the right track because he's in a plan. He has a financial backing that he can go, and now he doesn't have to worry about going back to work in retirement. And that's it for me. Again, guys, when it comes down to getting a personal plan for you and your family, that's something that we'd love to do, and we'd love to sit down with you one on one to kind of go over where you're at, where you'd like to be, and kind of give you the steps to get there as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thanks, Tay, for summing it up. I've got your website listed down below here. So if you want to reach out and contact, I think, Tay, tell me, your initial services are free, right? I mean, your consultations,
Yes.
it's a free service, right?
Yes,
To
absolutely.
help people get on the right path. So, what's better than free?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep. It doesn't hurt, getting that free consultation again, and at least getting your mind on some of those things that you're shooting for. A lot of people really don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan, and that's one of the things that we like to help people with, is getting a plan together. That way, you can have the proper steps in place to get where you want to go.
Excellent. And so, for anybody in the audience that is that's active duty, right? This is the perfect, while you're making a paycheck, right? While you're as you're thinking about transitioning out, or maybe you're not, man. Maybe you're just a few years in, or you're 4 or 5 years in. You're going 20, right? 20 plus. It's still a great time. It's actually a really great time to get with these guys, to get a financial coach, get lined up. I wish I had way back earlier on in my career. So I mean, I waited until I retired, and
Mhm.
retired from the Navy, and then had work with the government, or with a company afterwards. And I was like, wow, okay, I kind of need to get my financial house
Right.
in order.
Right.
So, uh, like they said, never too late. But man, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. All right. So again, thank you very much for coming and joining me tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the service you guys provide to our men and women in the service. And I look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Darren.
You bet. Thank you. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, give me a hashtag replay, mash the like button, give me some love, throw me a heart. Anybody want any more contact information than the website here? leave it in the comments below, and I will connect you guys together. Tay, stick around for a minute if you would. I'm going to add the broadcast. Cheers.
Yes, sir.